I have a couple stories here from BoundIntoComics.com. I didn't want to do each one individually because, quite frankly, the stories just aren't big enough to carry their own video, I don't think. Rumor, the Marvel's latest delay, the result of Brie Larson's Diva behavior. It's just a shit show. Now, the thing is, I've heard there's conflicting reports out there about whether this is true or not, because some people are coming out saying it's not true. Other people are saying it is true. I don't know. All I know is that the Marvel's movie having been delayed, I think it's 4 times now, having to do reshoots and stuff. That's not good. But anyway, the article says, in the same way that her self-important public persona wrecked any hopes of Captain Marvel ever becoming one of the MCU's most genuinely beloved characters, it seems Brie Larson's dissatisfaction with being demoted from her franchise's leading lady to one of its many ensemble members is proving disastrous for the Marvel's productions. More than perhaps any other effort, it's had a rough time taking off, yada yada yada. Yeah, okay, so 4 total release delays, with its original July 28th, 2023 premiere having ultimately been pushed back to its current date of November 10th, 2023. There's the poster for it. Okay, I mean, it's fine. I don't know. I don't have high hopes that the movie will be any good. I think it'll more than likely just be, like the article said, a shit show. I don't know if it'll be because of Brie Larson or because of whoever. Anyway. Noted film reporter Jeff Schneider informed his co-host that in terms of the Marvel's productions, I've heard this is just a shit show. I've heard it's kind of chaos. No surprise there, having that many delays, reshoots, all that stuff. I don't think this will surprise anybody who's plugged into the industry. As it says, I've heard again, don't get mad at me, I've heard Brie's a nightmare. I don't think I'm the first person to say that. I heard she really clashed with Thaonia Paris. It led to some strife and is sort of behind the delays. Press for more information made it clear that their conversation was entering the realm of gossip, but it's gossip from a good place. I've heard, first of all, she was upset that the movie is called The Marvels. And it goes on, it's not Captain Marvel 2, everybody else says like Thor, but everything like that. This is The Marvels. She's an Oscar winner. Brie Larson's an Oscar winner, and they have a certain expectation of the way they're going to be treated. See, it's very believable. I could absolutely see that being true. But, The other article is The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere viewership reportedly worse than the book of Boba Fett. Oops. A new report claims that Mandalorian Season 3's premiere viewership is worse than the Book of Boba Fett's premiere viewership numbers. The report comes from the Wrap and is based on Samba TV data that tracks 3 million households and 25 million televisions. Now the thing about that is, that basically tells you right there that you got to take this stuff with a huge grain of salt. Because they track 3 million households, and it's like the Nielsen data and stuff. Taken by itself, you can only trust it so far because, okay, it tracks 3 million households and 25 million televisions, which is kind of weird because it's like, so how do you track only 3 million households but you got 25 million televisions? That's weird. But I mean, I kind of know the reason why, because it has to do with like streaming and all this kind of shit and stuff. It's just, they can use apps and so on and so forth. But the thing is whether it comes from Samba TV, Nielsen, whoever it is, you can only take the data, to me, you have to use it on more of a week-to-week kind of basis or a case-by-case basis. So in this case, assuming that they used the same exact, sets of data to get to this number, I'm okay with it. Now, is it the actual reality and the truth? Maybe, because you kind of look at trends and stuff. Like they say, the Book of Boba Fett reportedly had higher numbers. The series had less viewership than Obi-Wan Kenobi by 28%, talking about Mandalorian Season 3. However, it does note that the Mandalorian's premiere outpaced the most recent Star Wars Disney Plus premiere of Andor by 50%, which is a hell of a lot. Samba TV, for its part, reported the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere drew in 1.6 million households between March 1st and March 5th. See, this is the part where it starts getting like, where you're like, what? I don't, you don't know. This is where you start questioning it, because you're like, something like that, it only draws in 1.6 million households over the first 4 days or whatever. But, again, I think if you look at the data comparatively, they reported that the Book of Boba Fett had 1.7 million households for the premiere. Whereas they say 1.6 million for the Boba Fett, and that's what they're talking about. And then they start getting into the whole thing about, if you subtract 34,000 from 1.7 million, you get 1.67 million. That's 70,000 more viewers than Samba TV's reporting. But if you're looking at what they publicly reported, they actually beat The Mandalorian by 5.8%. And then they talk about, but they even said, they actually claimed later that it was watched by 1.9 million households in its first weekend. The discrepancy is an extra 200,000 about all this kind of stuff. And you're like, not to say that this isn't important, but then you just start, You're just mincing stuff. You're just kind of, you're really just really getting in the weeds there in this kind of stuff. Point is, by most indications, Mandalorian season 3 premiere has done worse than the Book of Boba Fett, done a lot worse than Obi-Wan Kenobi. However, it did way better, like tons better than Andor, which, it's hard to say what kind of data you can draw from that. Because you would say, okay, well, Book of Boba Fett probably benefited some from like the end of Mandalorian season 2, with the excitement around Luke and all that kind of stuff. But then you're like, yeah, but it kind of petered out. But then Obi-Wan Kenobi apparently did really good. Then you're like Andor, and then the bottom fell out, and you're like, what? So I don't know what you can all take from all this and stuff. It's hard to say exactly, but point is, Mandalorian season 3 doesn't seem to be off to a tremendous start. We'll see. I mean, I haven't personally been a fan of it myself, but honestly, I watched the premiere. That was about it. Yeah, I'm not really feeling it. That's me. We'll see. Maybe you feel differently. That's cool. I mean, agree to disagree or whatever. If you like it, that's cool. I hope people do like it, because I'm not. But whatever. Anyway, I'll go ahead and wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.